See you soon. Thank you to iTeammate. Now, the Indiana Department of Corrections doesn't know how much it costs to execute its inmates on death row. As iTeammate's Tim Spears reports, the state, Tim, is missing a crucial piece of information as it considers the future of the death penalty.
That's right, Phil. I sent a pair of records requests asking the Indiana Department of Corrections about the single-day cost of killing death row inmates Joseph Corcoran and Benjamin Ritchie. The DOC says it doesn't have any records keeping track. Once I started reporting on this, the governor's office then reached out and confirmed there is not a single account for the total cost. It's spread out in pieces across multiple state and local agencies. Increased security, transportation for the victim's family, and the last meal, a tour of Italy from Olive Garden. Just some of the costs from Benjamin Ritchie's execution, the Indiana Department of Corrections says it hasn't totaled. iTeammate submitted a public records request asking for information sufficient to show the single-day cost of executing Benjamin Ritchie in May, as well as Joseph Corcoran last December. But the IDOC said it does not have any public records that meet the request.
If there's any sort of definitive facts and details of the procedure, you would think that a financial accounting would be kind of the bare minimum.
David Frank of the Indiana Abolition Coalition isn't surprised to see difficulty gathering details around the death penalty, pointing out how information on the purchase of lethal injection drugs are kept confidential by state law.
Indiana is not like every other state, it's unique in its non-disclosure.
When asked by iTeammate about the lack of accounting, the governor's office started asking questions as well. It found the cost of added security was covered by state police and Michigan City Police. The county coroner takes care of disposing the body, and a total accounting would need to be put together piece by piece. We already know Indiana spent more than $1 million on lethal injection drugs. The state bought $900,000 worth under Governor Eric Holcomb. Then iTeammate discovered Indiana purchased an additional dose for $275,000 in April because 2 doses had expired without being used. That cost is one of the reasons Governor Mike Braun said the state is pausing the death penalty as it considers the future of capital punishment.
Something that costs, I think, $300,000 a pop that has a 90-day shelf life. I'm not going to be for putting it on the shelf and then letting them expire.
But the total cost is information the state does not seem to have.
This more than ever is an appropriate time to look at whether or not capital punishment is a practice the state wants to maintain.
I reached out to an Indiana attorney with the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press, which has represented Wish TV and other news outlets in public access cases. They said if the Department of Corrections didn't already have an existing document totaling the single-day cost of these executions, Indiana's public records law does not require the DOC to create one. And now we know that's a cost it can't calculate on its own. Reporting in studio, Tim Spears for Wish TV and WishTV.com.